Hi, we are here at the 4th Annual Level Ground Film Festival. We are here with Julien Baker, and we are about to go live for her show this evening. We're really excited that she's with us tonight, and we're going to do a little bit of a small Q&A right before she goes on to play her set, and get rocking and rolling there and have a good night. But we wanted to find a way for you guys to get involved. So we're going to be doing these every day with each of our special guests, and so we are hoping you are staying tuned in. Anyway, to start off the night, I want to talk a little bit about kind of what you're excited about. Like, why are you here? What are you excited about being here? Why did you choose Level Ground?
Why did I choose Level Ground? If I'm not mistaken, Level Ground chose me. No, I'm just kidding.
You have to choose us back.
Sort of, exactly.
I mean,
so, but and you and I talked a little bit about this, but I played the festival in Nashville, a small festival, and I had little knowledge outside of just the Facebook, like, explanation and the webpage of what it is that you guys do. The tagline, dialogue, not division. I was like really drawn to that ideal of there being a safe space to, I almost said negotiate, but one of my friends, Sue Ann, who I met at the Nashville thing, she always corrects me. She's like, we're not negotiating. I was like, okay. But, you know, having these different ideologies represented and challenged and workshopped into something that can be collaborative, that was really awesome. And when I performed at the Nashville session with Emily Joy, and I met Samantha there, and it was just an environment that really seemed to foment and encourage people sort of sharpening their ideas against each other. And I loved that. And so Samantha reached out about playing this one, and I was like, yeah, we'll make it work. Like, I just wanted to support you guys because I think it's a really valuable thing, especially in our current historical moment. It's more crucial than ever.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's cool. Obviously, you know, people can read about you having lots of intersections in your own life that relate to what we're doing. So whether it's faith and sexuality or lots of issues of identity, you talk about that a lot in your work and in what you do.
Right.
And I wonder if you could just share with the audience kind of like what brings you here in terms of your personal life. Like, why are those intersections important to you?
Okay. Sorry, I always pause to make sure, like, I try to think of things, you know, articulately, because sometimes I launch in without a plan and it ends poorly. So how do those intersections meet? Why am I here? Well, I'm here because this is something I've been thinking a lot about, especially as activism and specificity and representation are such big issues right now, and I feel like there is no way to collapse any of those identities or fit them neatly into a box to minimize certain aspects of their personality in order to feel wholly included in other social groups, right? So I think that competition and that like cognitive dissonance between all of these seemingly opposed parts of ourselves are what demand the most work to figure out. So like, it's funny, I was listening to a podcast about this today, that there is a narrative that exists in dominant culture about like mainline Christianity and those mainline ideals, which is different than like agreeing on fundamental truths of like, I am a Christian and so believe like basic truths that define that faith.
Right.
But then there's this, it was a Dr. Oh my gosh, I will think of it later. But she was talking about, she wrote Towards a Womanist Ethic in Theology, and she was talking about like relevant to your specific like cultural background, that it's like, no, you should always do that. You should always find a way to like put, what does this mean for me as a queer person? What does this mean for me as a woman? I cannot just be a believer stripped of all of my identities, those are things that I bring to how I think about the gospel, right? So like I wanted a place where I felt like I could discuss those things more openly, and it's cool because Level Ground, I feel like, provides that kind of dialogue, but doesn't just stop there in let's construct a safe space for each other. It then serves as an impetus to go back out into, you know, mainline Christian dominant culture and represent those ideals unashamedly and be wholly oneself for the betterment of Christianity in the whole.
Yeah, I would say for the betterment of hopefully everyone.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. So
that's really cool. You get Level Ground so well, which is impressive given that you've been with us. Well, this is the second time now.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's awesome.
That was a bit of a meandering answer, I realized, but I just like I've been consuming a lot of like theory and observations on this topic, and so it's like all competing for what to say.
For sure.
But,
well, I mean, obviously, it's a part of your life if you're consuming all of that information in a way that like you want to be a part of right now. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that makes sense. I want to ask. You grew up in Tennessee.
Yes.
You know, in the buckle of the Bible Belt or some part of the belt. You know,
yeah.
I don't know if it's the buckle or a little bit east of the buckle.
Yeah, exactly.
But whatever it is, it's in the Bible Belt, and
I think it was
in that context. I mean,
in the context of being, and this is something people ask me about a lot, and I think it's important to talk about specifically in whether it's in the South or just in like rural areas. I feel like it's the same. Conservatism prevails a little bit more. That narrative.
I mean, I grew up in rural Maryland, which is no part of the South, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we're south of the Mason-Dixon line, but hardly.
Yeah.
And my part of the country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it exists everywhere, and then I think it just, unfortunately, it is kind of a convenient. Stereotype of an NRA card carrying like redneck hillbilly character, and that's not the South that I know. It's incredibly a lot of the challenges in coming out to myself and then to my community were like these internal, more real physical, emotional, like outside factors. And I was fortunate enough to have, I mean, like even my parents willing to work with me on it. And that's not true of everyone, and it's a privilege for me to be able to say, like, don't just move to San Francisco where it's easier. But, you know, if you're a kid in a town with like 500 people and your whole community ostracizes you, for me, I just like, it's more of a goal to like stay where I am and like show that that's not. So like my home and you know, I never imagined going to a church and spectrum or the trans community, but it was still kind of like a tongue-in-cheek friends of female. Whoa, here in Tennessee, that kind of safety exists, where people can safely worship and be themselves. And I was like, so, but
It's
anyway,
really cool.
yeah,
So I just have two more questions for you.
cool.
First one is, your career is kind of taking off right now. It's hit the road running at this point. The insider, but
No, it is. It's
yeah.
like, but thank
yeah,
you very much.
for sure.
Yeah.
What do you want us to know at this point about who cares about gender and sexuality and faith, but just as a musician that's
Right.
on this road and growing? Yeah.
Right. Well, that's an. Well, it's interesting. Tomorrow I fly from California to upstate, and so I'm doing that. I'm on tour, obviously, and then I'm hopefully putting out a record. I say hopefully because I am paranoid of speaking in absolutes, but I'm gonna put out a record. This is a chance to plug my record or whatever, but the things that end up and those are the things that are so rejuvenating and make me feel like this is the most prize. So I don't know, I'm just grateful to be here with y'all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. I want to end on a little in the space.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
That's like
I agree, and I think that there are I still feel a sense of those things, and it's rare that I can kind of step into a space just a moment for me of oh my gosh, there's a queer person moved by that, and so thank you. But that's leading to the question, which you seem like a very thoughtful person that cares a lot about the decisions that so I just wanted to know, for the person that's showing up tonight or gets word of this Q&A on Facebook, to feel.
Oh man. Say my hope for them. This is gonna sound cheesy, but then I'll explain. Is that they feel not me talking a little bit about Smith 7 and growing up, going to house shows and stuff. It establishes a community. It gives you, it's like a discourse in song. Where it is that I feel in touch with God. Is it in solitary prayer, or is it in trying to consume where an act of love manifests itself. And so I want my music to be that I want to have a conversation with. There's no way to consume I want to hear everyone's stories. In a perfect world, it's fascinating. But music is like an expediting tool for that, where we can all for a minute that requires no explanation, and that's the understood and not alone.
That's awesome. I love that.
Okay.
Well, thanks for being here and taking the time for just, I mean, you know, show up for us and have showed up for us. So,
of course.
I look forward to your show.
Me too. I'm excited.
For those of you who don't know yet, the show's almost sold out, but you can still kind of sneak in, I think, with 1 or 2 more tickets left. So if you're in Pasadena, stop by, and if not, check out our schedule online at onlevelground.org/Pasadena, and check out one of the other events this week. It's going to be a great week. I think it's our best festival yet. And thank you again for tuning in, and thanks, Julie.
Of course.